Okay, hi everybody. Today I'm reviewing a film that I watched yesterday night till about 2 a.m. and I'm absolutely blown away. I had very low expectations from this film, despite all the good reviews that I heard about it. But I had a couple of people's personal opinions. They didn't really enjoy this film. Now we'll break it down why I think they didn't enjoy this film and why I think you should watch it in a different way to perhaps some people have done, and that's why they didn't enjoy it. So I'm reviewing Udta Punjab. So this film came out in 2016 and it's got quite good reviews in IMDb. It's got a 7.9 rating out of 10 on IMDb, and it's under the genre of crime, drama, thriller. And yes, absolutely, it's definitely in that genre. It doesn't really deviate from it and try to be something else. It is quite comical at times, but I think that's just, because, you have to throw it in there, and people in everyday lives as well, you have those moments. I really like this film. I was very surprised by, how well the characters absolutely were, written. Each of the characters and each of the actors playing the characters, I think I couldn't have chosen a better cast, and I absolutely was in love with all of them. I was a bit reluctant. I always am very reluctant to go and watch Shahid Kapoor films. Somehow, I don't know. I think because I have a past experience of him and a past image of him being a bit, young and chocolatey. But he really has turned his image around, and the person I was most impressed with in this film was Alia Bhatt. I just forgot at times that she was Alia Bhatt and not the character she's playing. Absolutely, brilliant performances by all the actors. I gotta say, I'm totally crushing on Diljit Dosanjh. I think that guy has so much subtlety. Now, there was a lot of difference between the four characters, similarities and differences. So I would say, without giving away, and I'm sure you can probably decipher this from the trailers as well, that Diljit and Kareena Kapoor's character, they're both very subtle. And on the other hand, you've got, Shahid Kapoor and Alia Bhatt, who are playing very character roles, and, they have to step away from their personal selves and kind of sink into this character. Which they did brilliantly, and the subtlety was done brilliantly by Diljit and Kareena. I have to say, being in the acting field myself, I have to say that subtlety sometimes is much difficult than being extravagant, and sometimes you see that's why, it's so much easier to overact, it's so much easier to sort of go out and out. That's why I have to give it to Alia Bhatt for portraying the character she was, portraying the accent that she picked up. Yes, at some points, one negative was at some points I could pick up that that accent's not really, native to her. Same thing with Kareena. At some points, she was losing her accent and she was kind of slipping back into her normal self, which, again, Shahid Kapoor didn't do. He really maintained his accent throughout. Diljit, obviously, he's playing a Punjabi guy. He is Punjabi, so was easy for him, I suppose. But there are these certain segments that really, really stick out in mind for me by Alia. Long, almost soliloquy-esque, monologue-like dialogues, really long dialogues, and very powerful dialogues. And she, absolutely smashed it, You just completely, get bowled over, by the fact that she does not lose character, and she just completely says those dialogues with so much conviction, and I was so impressed, and it gave me goosebumps at certain points. Again, she was really doing a very measured performance. She was alternating between those gritty, extremes of emotions, and then again the subtlety. And I think that's what shows that she's a brilliant actress at such a young age, that she can grasp the subtleties and the extremes, and she can, move between them so much. Of course, when I am reviewing a film or in any film in the future, I'll probably be talking more about the performances as opposed to the technical aspects of it. I think I'm not a very technical person, so I can't really talk about that. But from an acting perspective, performance perspective, and the writing perspective, I found it very entertaining. Now, I want to talk about from an audience perspective. Now, I watched this film by myself in a room, and that's why I had no distractions. Yes, I was doing some work on the side, but it's one of those films that you can't just watch passively, you have to watch it actively. And that's why I had to kind of switch off the screen that I was doing any work on and just focus on the film, because it does draw you in. And it's almost a documentary-like film, so it's educational. At certain points, it does require your, your full attention. And that's why, the negative response that I have had about this film, which is what kind of led me to not want to watch this film for so long. I suppose some people who have watched it in big screen would have really enjoyed it. Although it's not one of those films that's really dramatic and got like lots of effects going. It's very real life based, and that's why if you're expecting that, and if that's the sort of person you are who goes to film like cinemas just to watch those type of films, which I am personally, then but I would say watch it somewhere where you've got silence and you can actually give up those 2.5 hours fully to the film, and you can really invest in that film, because there's no point going into the film like being distracted by things, and that's why watching it on TV is probably not a good idea. So my family members, certain family members of mine, didn't enjoy this film. I can understand why. One of the negatives, possibly not a negative, because it's supposed to be realistic, and I suppose in real life people do swear, and this film has got a lot of swear words, like filled with swear words, but they don't seem pretentious. The swear words don't come out like, it doesn't seem like, oh, they're just throwing them around just to seem cool. It does seem like well placed, and after a bit you get used to it. Initially you're like, whoa, they're swearing so much, but after a bit you do get used to it. And for that reason, I didn't have a problem with it. But watching it with your family members, especially elderly or children, that might be a bit of cause for concern, because you might not want to view this film in that environment. And also mostly people watch these type of films at home with their family, if they're not watching it on a big screen, of course. In that case, if you're having adverts, or if you're not watching the film from the beginning, you can miss a lot of detail. You can lose the cue. You can lose the sort of the flow and the pace of the film, and that's very distracting, because it's very easy to sort of lose track of what's going on. It's got those. It doesn't have. I must say that if considering I've watched Hollywood films as well, I can tell that it's not got the cues, the sound effects and all the cues that Bollywood films usually have to kind of keep the audience on track. So if it's a sad moment, they'll have sad music going on, and they'll pace it on, and it's very predictable almost that this is going to happen next. Things happen very suddenly, they happen very unexpectedly, and it's too real sometimes that, oh my god, what, that just happened. So it's one of those films that you have to really concentrate on and focus. Obviously not to the point where you're straining yourself. I think the film does a very good job of drawing you in, so you're not having to work to do that. Another thing I'd say is that I really like the way it was sort of knitted together. That's the best way I can put it. There's bits where it just goes really slow, and you're just because it's trying to tell you that it's trying to portray an image, and it does it very well. I'm not going to give away what I'm trying to say by this, but yeah, it does that very, very well. And also certain points they're so fast paced, but not excessively fast paced. They're fast paced because that's what's happening in real time. It's happening too quick, and things certain things happen so quick. You're just you're almost as an audience, you're what? That, you just forget that, oh my god, this is supposed to be a film, and it's supposed to be, fictional, but because things are so real at times, you're just shit, that happened. And, it takes you a while to kind of get used to that and kind of swallow that. All the characters, I'm borrowing this particular quote from Jabby Quay. I watched his review, and then I went on to watch this film. that all the characters have character arcs, and you'll know this perfectly well when you watch this film, that, you know, the subtle characters, they have, you know, the characters who had kind of like a happy start, whatnot, whatever, you know, they end on a different note. And same with the ones that had like a lot going on, they end on a peaceful note. And, you know, I'm trying not to give away the ending at all. But yeah, it's very realistic. It doesn't have that standard happy ending. It did leave me with a bit of a lump in my throat because I wanted all the characters to sort of, you know, be happy at the end. And unfortunately, obviously, real life is not like that. And this is kind of a depiction of real life. No, I really enjoyed this film, and I definitely recommend it to people to go watch it. And I think Diljit Dosanjh, kudos to that guy for like rocking his bug. I've been watching his latest interviews, and you know, he's so humble. And I have to say, Alia Bhatt, for her age, brilliant performance. Shahid Kapoor, from where he started, the sort of films he started doing, and how he's shown that growth, absolutely stunning. And obviously, my all-time favorite, Kareena Kapoor. I've always had a girl crush on her. Always idolized her as from the moment I saw her in Kabhi Khushi Kabhie Gham. So yeah, I really enjoyed this film. Thank you guys. Go watch the film, and of course, if you like this video, then please share, like, comment, and of course subscribe. And I'll see you guys later. Mwah. Bye bye.